Hey there, guys. How you doing? And first of all, sorry I was so late uploading my video last night. The regular software I wasn't able to upload through AZ Screen Recorder, what I usually use. YouTube had made some changes, and now you got to upload it straight from the app. So just a little tip. Took me a little while to figure it out, but YouTube, the app has changed, and I couldn't. I was getting unsuccessful uploads on really a bunch of videos, and feel kind of stupid now. But there you go. That's what you get when you get an older guy and not as familiar with technology sometimes. At any rate, here we have a huge morning for bosses in Madden Mobile. It is hard to imagine what the rest of the year is going to be like given the insanity of these two cards. So we're going to cover them. I've already been playing a little bit with the cards. What I've been talking about for months now with, as I see it, the game being unbalanced with the three pack only rare speed boosters that were typically ending up all on the same teams, unbalancing the game, and now EA with one card lays the boom down, and now everybody who can do a boss, which I know a lot of people can't afford to do the bosses or not doing the bosses. If you're going to get one boss card, obviously it's going to be this one. It's unreal. So OBJ gets a card. EA loves them some OBJ, and in terms of Beckham's achievements so far in the NFL, they're obviously extremely impressive so far. So he does deserve a great card. I know in the playoffs against the Packers, he didn't show up, in that game. He was not good. So he's a young player, and he's got a ways to go, I think, before I know Jerry Rice. By the time he was just a couple years in the NFL, he was going to the Super Bowl and things of that nature. So Beckham's got a ways to go, and he definitely doesn't have that 49ers team around him either, but he's definitely a great player. At any rate, though, they give him a boss card, and he deserves it. All these stats, I don't know if anybody deserves these stats. This is unreal. 99 speed, 99 jump, and then he boosts everybody else's speed and jump plus 5. I don't even know what to say. I mean, this card, you boost speed. Okay, so if you're going to have a speed booster, it doesn't matter what boost they put with it, okay? They could have put, I'm trying to think of something really useless, that they could have put in with this kick power or kick accuracy or release or something like that they could have boosted. Injury, that they could have boosted along with speed, and instead they do jump. So a little bit of jump is going to help for sure. It is going to help for sure. And basically, so 91 strength on an OBJ card. I mean, really? Really high agility, which you expect, and elusiveness. He deserves that for sure. Really high carry along with the strength. So this is going to be a guy who could hold on to it in traffic for the type of game that I play. I still think because of his height, he's not going to be a great deep threat. But with that speed, he is going to get loose. And, he's going to be hard to catch after he catches the ball, except for taking into account the fact that everybody's going to have this card within some period of time. I mean, if you can only do one boss, this would be obviously the one to get with the speed boost. So I know other people are going to complain that it's not a Mike Evans or it's not a Julio Jones or it's not a Randy Moss. It's not a big jump ball receiver. But in a way, it's kind of like, who cares? Put everybody else around him, put tall guys around him. He'll boost everybody else up to jump higher and run faster. I mean, there's really Nothing wrong with this card. And the cool thing about it is one position being a +5 speed that really opens you up in terms of the rest of your team. You could put maybe a slower guy at wide receiver. Just as an example, you could use like a Pro Bowl Brandon Marshall, who I believe that card's got 94 speed, and all of a sudden now he's got 99 speed, and he's a strong guy who could go up and get it and has boosts of his own. You're really boosting the weakest part of that card, which isn't that bad anyways, but all of a sudden it has 99 speed, 99 jump, and it's a really strong card. That's just an example. You know, when you have a card like this, all of a sudden your Greg Olson becomes a Shockey, you know, or Gronk becomes a Shockey. Any 99 running backs can have 99 speed, no problem. Offensive line's going to play, you know, and get to their blocks sooner because of the speed. And I played Luke Miola actually, and he must have had a network disconnect or something because next drive he forfeited, his third drive he forfeited. But I had a medium countered cross in, and Olsen got loose anyways for a 60-yard completion on the crossing route. Just got through his pattern and dusted Boss Brucey like he wasn't there. Like he was nailed down. Got to the end of that pattern, was able to roll out, get enough time, deliver the football, and just a huge completion to the guy. I haven't gone really over the top to Davis or OBJ or anything like that as of yet, but you know, the card really gives you a lot of options in terms of who else you could play. You could play bigger, stronger, slower guys if you want, lesser wide receivers, and do just fine because Beckham's going to boost the speed and the jump. Unreal. In defense, in some ways, me and another guy in my league, a new member, Aaron, who's a really cool guy, we were kind of talking because he played me on defense just to see, you know, how everything looked. In some ways, having speed is a disadvantage on defense, having too much speed. And what I've noticed at times, and it's not consistent, I am not able to consistently pick it up, but I do play Nicole Aniston, who's got +6 speed enough that sometimes the corners and the safeties, I don't know if you could call it over pursue, but they play behind the receiver and play the ball instead of playing the receiver underneath. You know, they're not paying attention to, you know, playing underneath them. You know, that's why sometimes people like using a slow wide receiver, or they'll still use like an Eifert card in the slot, because that was the good thing, is that, you know, the safety is always behind him and you just front and you throw a bullet to him underneath. And I think that there are going to be changes in the way that we're playing based on that. Also, there was an update a couple days, and kind of an interesting thing. I rebooted my phone finally after doing the update, and all of a sudden the game seemed super fast and smooth. It definitely seemed like diagonal speed and the quickness of my players, even before I got Beckham here, was affected. So it seems like it might be slightly easier to play offense now in this game, which is really interesting that EA did a change like that. And league to league, I don't know. We've had a couple league drives. Well, you saw my league drives with the video I uploaded last night. And again, I'm sorry on that, you know, just wasn't able to figure out how to get it uploaded through my recording software. And finally, I found that through YouTube itself, I could upload it. But, you know, so that was kind of a rough set of drives. And I think it was a 103 defense. So that was not easy by any means. So there's still some difficulty in gameplay, but it might be slightly relaxed. I don't know. In Hall of Fame, it seems slightly easier in some ways. It's a little smoother, Receivers seem to be running a little bit better patterns. Guys seem to be catching it a little bit more, I've noticed. So it seems a little bit different. And anytime they do an update, you got to think, what is it, a placebo, or is it, actually something that EA did? And I haven't heard too many people on Mudhead talking about it, but I do think that's something that's different. All right, so let's go on and talk about the other boss who's, again, didn't really deserve a card. Norman made the Pro Bowl in 2015. I think by him going to the Redskins, a rebuilding team, and taking the money instead of staying in a really good defensive unit like they have in Carolina, I think it was a mistake for him. But it's a business. It's a hard sport. You never know how long you're going to play. So Norman went after the money. Didn't really deserve a card per se. And I honestly thought that Deion Sanders would get a card late in the year and he'd have a speed boost. I thought that would be the way it worked. Now, who knows? We might get another speed booster. That's fully possible. If they're going to do one, why not do another one? It is that type of thing. I think it's certainly possible at any rate. But the Norman card here is no less a player than OBJ in terms of, man coverage and agility. Again, man coverage boost is phenomenal. That instantly makes, Willie Brown, the boss card, who's got +2 man, and there's a flashback with +2 man. You basically take both of those and take a better gameplay card, and then add an agility boost on top of it. It's insanity. It's absolutely cool, though. I obviously love it. And, with saving up all the stuff that I did, bosses gave, I had a big head start on bosses. I'm down now to 16 tokens because I did both players for 2 weeks in a row. But, I really cannot complain. But I guess that's the point of what EA wants to do. It's a cash grab. Of course, they have an angle to play in this. And they are going to force you to want to do cards every week, it seems to me. Although it does get to the point where it's like, man, I don't need all those cards. But, there's going to be individuals who do every boss every week. Knowledge and 99 Problems is going to do it. He's going to do it. But at any rate, though, this individually, I'm not sure what the hit power is, so I'm not sure if he's a hit stick cornerback the way that NTL is. But 98 speed, really high. And once again, the stats are insane. These are boss card stats. Doesn't need any of Brady's help for PLR. Helps himself with the man coverage, so he's in 99, 99. 99 man zone PLR corner. Doesn't need any awareness boost, which I've got whatever it is +15 right now. Doesn't need much of anything, this card, to be honest with you. So that's a really good card, and needless to say, man coverage is a strong boost. You put something else with it like press or something like that. No, they put agility along with it. So it's insane. So here's how the team is looking right now. 106, and actually before this morning, I took the positional hero punter out. If I could, I'm not trying to be too cheap, but if I could save myself from going to 107 overall, and playing those kind of teams, I will. But, it's just, if you look up and down the line now, like Corey Davis here, just need a little bit of help with speed. 6'2", 95 jump, I believe, is his base jump. So you need, that's really good, but just a little bit of help here and there. And having OBJ just absolutely transforms this card to, like, a Boss Moss card, essentially, is almost what this is. He's a little shorter, but, everything else pretty much matches up. It's a sick card now, and it really helped out. Gronk here, He's at least at 96 speed. This is a lot more respectable. Look at now with all these boosts, his agility is 99. Absolutely unbelievable. His jump is now 91, which he needed a little bit of help. He doesn't go up and get it the way that you'd like sometime. Olsen here has 96 jump. This boost, set of boosts, turns Olsen into Shockey. So it would turn Shockey into a monster, is really what it comes down to. But, that is the amazing equalizing thing about that card. You could put a lot of other cards around OBJ and just get, you're going to get some game-breaking speed to a certain extent, and then you get a jump boost, too, on top of it. It's absolutely insane. But, just look at even, like Williams with 95 speed now, and Martin. And now you could do whatever you want at the halfback position. No more Gurley. Gurley goes bye-bye now. I could put Sherman back in, and even he now boosts up to 95 speed. It's bringing me back a strength boost by dropping Gurley. That's giving me +3 strength, which is also a very important boost for a team. It helps people catch a little bit better. Quarterbacks who have more strength throw better. Speaking of quarterbacks, we almost have here. Let's just do it real quick just so we can say that we saw it. Boss Brady with 90 speed. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's insane. But it just lets you do a lot with your team. It really does. Here, let's see what happens when we put DeMarco in. I'm sure it's going to drop my overall. No, it doesn't do anything. Look at that. Just rock solid. Doesn't change a darn thing by putting either player in. Gurley drops it to a 106. Obviously, I need the strength boost more than the awareness now, but with the free DeMarco card that I almost put in the trade-in set, that obviously doesn't hurt at a high level if you've got enough boosters around him. So here, let's see what Reggie Bush boosts up to. Even that card, 97 speed, and still is at a 106 offense. So, yeah, 107 offense, 109 defense. Really happy with that, and there's still plenty of year to go. And, the cool thing about this, too, is, with this is really better than last year with GTs and Ultimate Legends. It really was. There was some redundancy last year with Ultimate Legends and GTs, too. Like, there was an Ultimate Legend Sean Taylor card. At that time when it came out, everybody thought that was going to be the best safety in the game for the rest of the year. But then all of a sudden, GT Taylor and Lott came out, and and there was these different levels, the boss and then the super boss cards, things like that. This year, there's the Ultimate Legend bosses, which have been the pack-only unicorns, which I've been complaining about for months, because they do tend to end up mostly on the same teams, bringing those defenses up to 110 and now above. And, they end up in the same teams, and with overall being as big a factor as it is in league-to-league play, it just makes it, unbalances the game a little bit. So, obviously, bosses is a way that EA is trying to make more money, keep things going, but every week, essentially, we have something to go for. These cards are attainable. I'm not going to say it's easy, and I'm not going to say everybody should do anything. If you don't want to get the cards, it's a game. If you don't want to get every card every week, or if you don't want to get a lot of these cards, if you don't want to work on it, then you won't want to work on it. But it's definitely worth some work in the game to try to get these cards, for sure. But it just, obviously with the Elite Collectibles thing, it takes a lot of live event plays, and EA has been controlling that mightily, okay? So, last night in the middle of the night, and when they dropped the hints that OBJ was going to be a speed booster, I'm like, up. And then I heard Josh Norman's the other card. I'm like, I need a cornerback. Speed booster is, a card I'm going to do. So I had, 36 tokens, or 35 tokens rather. And then I'm like, hey, I better get working. So I actually set an alarm, got up in the middle of the night and played a little Champions. Well, they had the Deep Attack live event, and that one takes a while to run for completions, and it was taking me an average of 7 to 8 minutes per stamina refill, and the drops that I was getting were not too great. I got a couple elites from the live event, but not a ton of them at all. I got even less than my playthrough the other night. So I just stopped, at the one token that I did, I just stopped and I'm going back to bed. Is basically what I'm going to do. Now, today we've got fan favorite. That's an okay event for getting some golds, but it's really maybe just one playthrough, and then you want to play CFL. The problem is CFL, we have this, and we're going to play it, even though I hate this. Really do hate this. And then they stick you with Theismann, too, on top of it. Get a completion, though. The only good pattern in the play. You want to get it in front whenever possible when you get the man coverage like that. That time the coverage wasn't too bad. You want to take something off this ball, most definitely. So that's actually not too bad. It seems like they might have fixed it a little bit, which you want to pay attention to. The hard ones on wide receiver 1. You just want to kind of jam it in there. You do not want to lob it because a lot of times it'll just go out of bounds. Lob or wait to throw the receiver open like you would properly do if you're playing league to league or head to head. You just want to jam it in there because otherwise you can't control the throw and it goes out of bounds. So that's not too bad. CFL's got some great drops. That's for sure. And there you go. I get an elite right on there. And it does seem a little bit hotter than Champions, in my opinion, this event. I played it once already, and it was a little hotter. So, all right, we've been talking a lot here. Now, let's go ahead and play Smurf. And let's see what he did. Didn't run into a lot of counters. I do want to make sure, actually, with all these OBJs running around these speed boosters, what do you go after now? More the run and try to stop the run more? Short passing, long passing? It's hard to say how it's going to be affected. And it does seem like since this update that it's a little bit easier to play offense. So that is definitely the case. So we'll play a couple drives here with the new team. It does really suck. I just, stay with the soft counters a lot of times. It does seem like guys are blocking a little bit better too. So I don't know if that's because I have Williams and Fisher now or what's going on, but I'll say that and watch I get correct. Having a little bit of speed getting out of the pocket. Did not like that look at all. I don't like this one either, to be honest with you. So 30%. That's not good. That isn't good at all. 30%. You know what? I'm going to flip smash and hope I don't take another counter. I'm going to put some mark on that one. And Gronk holds on to it. That'd be a lot of times with double coverage that Gronk would drop in the past. You know what? I'm going to do something different. Because this looks like an ultimate free setup. That looks like a counter. That's a critical. Yeah, so 38%. That is pretty nasty. And that was definitely a bit of a mistake. I didn't need to go for it all on that one. In front is what you want to do. And this is close enough. I'm going to try curls. That looks countered. Yeah, critical. Boy, they're all firing criticals. That one's not a counter, though. Okie dokie. Like something with a nice low outlet. I already ran double slants. Right. Ran all kinds of stuff. No, I did not run double slants. And so I will try double slants and take the field goal if I have to. Boy, get that there in a hurry. And fourth down, we're going to go ahead and kick that. Defense is playing quick. I don't know how many of these. Didn't look like by the overall that he had OBJ or Norman yet. That card raised, both those cards together raised my offense and my defense both +2. And even though I took out my punter, it still raised me to a 106 overall. That's amazing with 2 cards to do that. So, I mean, that is one cool thing. It seems like at the end of the year, last year, it got to the point I couldn't afford GTs every week. There's no way to make enough coins to get GTs every week. Not with the way I do things. I just, I'm not on the auction house as much. I am on the auction house more, I can guarantee you that. Mostly buying gold players, selling things here and there to try to keep coins so I could keep doing the gold player set, the 175 gold player into a token set. But, the only thing I'm worried about besides the positional heroes for special teams, which I have cards for, is bosses. I don't care about anything else. Don't care about Ultimate Legends. Wanted that Shockey card, like I said, but didn't end up pulling the trigger. Just didn't get cheap enough. Really glad I did that now because, I'm expecting at some points to not do any bosses some weeks, and I can't get 20 tokens a week. That's just way too much. I could maybe get, as long as I have coins, I could maybe get 10 or 15, but it's hard to do. It is really, really hard to do, and there's going to reach a point where I'm going to get tapped out. And what's going to happen to the economy, too, if you think about it, all these cards are just being destroyed. 99s are being destroyed, 93s, 96s, gold players, gold trophies that would be used in positional heroes. Although that gold trophy set's a mess. I mean, it's like 150 gold trophies, which isn't even worthwhile. I doubt many people at all are doing that set with the prices of gold trophies being what they are, with positional heroes still going on. But, all these things are just being used and destroyed in making these boss sets. They're disappearing from the game. And, so getting people to keep opening packs at some point, it's going to be hard. The players left in the game right now are not rookies. There's plenty of people who are totally addicted to opening packs, and they won't even do like the 10 trophy set or anything for themselves. They'll just sell the players so they could get coins so they can open more packs for Ultimate Legends coming out. You would think EA would continue to want to encourage people to do that, but the boss sets and the way they're set up really don't encourage it at all. It encourages people to be smart, get cards together, work hard multiple ways to get these cards. And, I have to say, again, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year. Once I think me and some of my guys, once we see the game next year, we're going to know how we feel and we're going to make a decision. That's going to be really hard when you're starting up a new year and things like that. You obviously want to play, and you want to have fun with your league and stuff like that. We haven't been too happy with the game plans at all, is really what it comes down to. We have not been happy with the way they've been implemented. We have not been happy with the randomness of the soft counters. And the thing is, at this time, and I don't know because it's only been a couple of days, but since this last update, it seems to me that the game is slightly easier in the league-to-league levels and also at Hall of Fame levels. I would say is slightly easier. I could be wrong. It could be just, real small sample size, but it seems to me that it's a little bit easier. So here we go. This is what's wrong with this game this year. I had an opponent the other day that in his first 2 drives, he was countered 7 out of 7 plays and gave up a safety. And, this type of thing is why, this game needs some retooling and some reworking. This should not happen. It's just random. And yeah, he tried 2 long pass plays at first, after he saw the first 46%er, it's not too bright to run another long pass play. And then wasn't too bright on top of that to run a running play, which is going to be countered in the soft counter unit higher than the short pass. And then he went back to a long. So yeah, he kind of got what he got. He really did get what he get. But, catching 4-4 where all the probabilities are at least under 50%, still kind of rough. That's kind of rough. But now I got to play, and let's see what I could do against him. Even Patterson on kickoffs, I've noticed, was more dynamic. I felt the speed there, too. Ooh, 26%. All right, 26%. Pretty high. And I did not want to throw that to that direction. I'm really having problems with that lately. I need help, need therapy. All right, Mr. Man. Let's see what Mr. Man, he's got a 107. Let's see who's got on his team. He has some older players, some newer players, not a ton of boosters, just really high overall players is what he has. Interesting place to put Chancellor. I know that having safeties at both dime and nickel improves overall a little bit. I still like having a corner at nickel. Corner at nickel and a safety in dime. Big guy in dime, Chancellor in dime is what I would do. I would reverse this actually. But it's his team, right? He could do whatever he wants. Nice team. This is, this is not an expensive 107. You got to have the Wilson card, obviously, which, if you don't have that card already, you're never going to have it, right? But, it's more economical than my team, that's for sure. He's still got Von Miller in there, and he's got that wear card, which, this one. That I was like, wow, that looks like a legacy card. And, then Watt comes out, absolutely destroys that card. But cards are cards. They're just stats. We got to play. What has Mr. Man been doing? Oh, all right. Yeah, he just ran into too many counters. And there's no way the soft counters should be as effective as they are. They really are effective. I've beaten top players in this game with soft counters, and I'm not puffing out my chest. When they fire, they're a pain to deal with. They really are. And I don't know what it is, maybe all the awareness boost, but they fire a lot. That was tight coverage. But that's not good. So 34%. I'm facing a soft unit here. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that 4th down. Definitely not. Well, a little bit more pop out of Olsen gets it done. So 34%. That's pretty strong, obviously. And that looks countered. And we'll go ahead and chuck that one in. A little bit extra speed, getting out of the pocket with the quarterback and being able to throw it away. Strong IFB middle. Oh. I know it was a counter, but that was just such an ugly drop. Got to go after it a little bit with the soft counters. Yeah, that backside pressure, I did not roll out of that effectively. I thought I'd have a little bit more time to throw the football. Let's go option. Hopefully we don't catch a critical, which we do. And turnover on downs. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly with Ice 9. And you still got to play. It's not all about the players. What did he do? He didn't do nothing. But, that's enough. Not really highlighting what people do. I don't like, throwing it downfield too much. You guys know my style. But, it's fun. So, who else is playing me here? Some other guys I think have updates on their teams. And let's see what guys have here. Here's a 108 defense. Let's see what this is made up of. Yeah, he's got Beckham. And wide receiver 1 as well. He's still got Chris Johnson. And that's the thing. Actually, we are going to do that. It's a good point. And he still has Gurley. So he's got +9 speed on this team. At least now he could play Brady. But let's look at Brady now. 92 speed on Brady. That's unbelievable. Doesn't look like he's got Norman because of the agility there. Yeah, he's got Blount at corner 2. That's a good card. That's a good value card right there. It's a big cornerback. And he picks me a lot. He gets picks for me in dime, and he was the perfect replacement for League Sherman. The thing is now with Blount, on my team here, I still actually am running Rhodes. If I get Hester or another acceleration booster at some point, I'll finally get to drop Rhodes. Peters, I really want to be on the legacy team. I really want him to be there just because he's been such a great player since he came out. I think he came out in February. He's been an awesome player, so I really want him to make the legacy team if at all possible. So we'll have to see how that goes. But once I get another acceleration booster, I'll drop Rhodes. But there you go. I get a 109 defense with Rhodes. It's unbelievable. But now Blount with that small man boost does become a little bit redundant. But the thing is, when you look at him, 98 speed, this is not bad for your dime. And, I already got him, not costing me anything. So that is not a bad card at all. Really, in a dime, I think you want a little bit better zone coverage, but 94 is not too bad. But older card in the game with a +5 speed boost gets a new lease on life, no question about that. But he's got Norman, but this is really a great equalizer, the boss program, because you could kind of see on here. With a couple of the unicorn cards. The boss type ultimate legends and stuff like that. The docket card here is a pretty good card, and look how that speeds up to 96 with everything that he's got on this team. It's a good card, a real good card, but it's not essential. You could kind of skip cards like that. Cards like the Larry Wilson, where if you didn't get a crystal egg, then you're not going to get a chance. You've already got +10 awareness boost through boss. You don't need another awareness booster. You can instead choose a player for other stats that you like. You can play like a Team of the Year Chancellor or something like that. It's just really, with Norman, any number of corners that you could play that could use a little bit of a man coverage boost, and everybody could use an agility boost. It's a huge boost. I can't believe they did that again this week. That they dropped two cards with boosts that were all so overpowered together. I mean, it's pretty cool. As far as things go, and I know not everybody can do the bosses, so it's unfortunate. I hope that everybody could really at least do enough to get one or two. It'd be really cool to get a player that you really like, or a position that you really need, or something like that. Because these players obviously will boost your team up a lot, and it does make a difference in gameplay. Even though in my Hall of Fame drives right now you didn't see it, it does make a difference in gameplay. So players still got to play, though, that's for sure. But that's it, guys. I'll cover more things, bosses as they come out. But I gave EA a boo my last video because no throwbacks with the speed booster, and I really assumed they would hold the boss speed booster back. I assumed that they would hold that card back, which would have created even more of a gulf, between the guys who have, the Moss, CJ2K, and Vic cards and everybody else. They'll be able to build around those speed boosters, but now we've got the one card that just kind of equalizes everything to a certain extent, and it'll blow up the market on those players. Let's check them out. Let's see what Moss is going for. So there's OBJ, and here's one thing. I just wanted to track this. Not that I was looking to sell this player, but here, already dipping a little bit under 6 million coins. People just want coins. They want to complete sets to get coins, and no matter what. Obviously, each player can complete each boss only once. So it's not like a for sure thing that you'll be able to buy them back cheaper. As far as this card goes, what I would recommend with cards like this is that if the card is so good, don't sell yourself short. That's what I would say. What are you going to pick up with 6 point whatever million coins after the 10% tax? What are you going to pick up for that? That's going to be better than this card. Isn't the point of making coins to get the really good cards on your team? And obviously we would have liked to have a bigger wide receiver, but, this Beckham card, it's about as good as it gets, really, besides the fact that he's short, it's about as good as it gets. So let's see what's happening and see if we can find any boss Randy Mosses. There's one. Wow, look at that. Under 7 million. Under 7 million in sitting. And, from a gameplay point of view, it's a better card than OBJ. He's tall. And, 99 jump, 99 base speed. Just really good stats all the way around. Carry's not quite as high, but, the jump and the height and the speed, probably make it gameplay-wise, taking boosts out of there's somebody bought him for 7 million. Somebody wanted that card and bought him. So from a gameplay point of view, it's a pretty good card. But now, Moss is affordable. I would not do that, though. But that's the cool thing now. Now my Davis card is basically, it's like a poor man's Randy Moss. It's a poor man's boss Randy Moss card. So that is pretty cool. Let's check out CJ2K and Vic and see what they are going for. Now you could just pick up a halfback on the basis of his gameplay. So, there's a few of them out there now. And it's not going to stop there. I think those are going to sit right there at that, because there's a lot of good halfbacks out there. A lot of good halfbacks out there, Positional Hero Bell and Dorsett if you already got him. And other cards are going to be a boss halfback is going to be coming out at some point. So, this card's not going to stop at 5 million. It's going to come down more than that for sure. And then now Vic is probably because even though Vic is a really, really fun card to play with, the most fun card, I've played with since gold medal master Barry Sanders last year. I think this one's going to get hit pretty hard because the throw power and the accuracies, although it's always up to the player and how you use them and timing. And I know like Nicole Aniston's really used to him. In his videos, you could tell he just plays very, very well with Vic and very comfortably. I think this is a harder card to play with for a lot of people. Definitely for myself, for my style. It's not the best card at all. So not an easy card to use. It'll still have its aficionados, will like this card. But I think for the majority of people, they're better off playing with Brady for sure. Or, one of the other cards that comes out. I assume that there's going to be another wide receiver through bosses and probably another quarterback. There's enough players to do that seems like they would do that. They might do one or two linebackers, maybe one or two middle linebackers, hopefully a tight end. I'm hoping for a tight end. Things like that. Maybe another corner, etc. So we should be seeing another quarterback, I would assume, through the boss program. But we'll definitely see. And that is it, guys. That's my video for the day. And go get yourself some tokens and a speed booster. Thanks for watching.